Hi, and welcome to GeekWire. I'm GeekWire co-founder Todd Bishop.
And I'm GeekWire editor Taylor Soper.
We are going to be giving you a driving tour of the news this week. There were big headlines from Amazon. Somebody's honking. This is for real, folks. There were big headlines from Amazon, Microsoft, and Starbucks this week. And as it happened, Taylor and I were headed over to the Microsoft campus. I'm actually really excited, Taylor. This is going to be the first time I will have been in the Microsoft building where all the executives are. The new one, not the old one, the new one. So we're headed there. But first, I wanted to go to a Starbucks because there is, in fact, a very interesting piece of news that came out this past week. And I have a very specific order that I want to make. And so that's coming up next. I'm excited about this.
Can't wait to hear what it is.
And then later on, we are going to be in a grocery store as well. And trust me, all of it relates to the news. Stick around. We'll be back with more on GeekWire right after this. Before we begin, a quick note to let you know that we've got a special GeekWire podcast event coming up, a live recording of the show, Thursday, February 12th. At 4 p.m. at Fremont Brewing in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood. That's Seattle's Fremont neighborhood, not Fremont, California, just to be clear. My colleague John Cook and I will be hosting a live recording of the GeekWire podcast in conjunction with the Fremont Chamber of Commerce. The event runs from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and I'll put a link in the show notes to where you can sign up for tickets to attend this event. And again, thanks to the Fremont Chamber of Commerce for making this possible. All right, I hope you enjoy this week's show. We are coming to you from the drive-thru at Starbucks in Bellevue, Washington, for a very specific reason. This week we're going to be giving you a driving tour of the news from Starbucks to Amazon to Microsoft. And Taylor, I'm excited about this. I don't think we've ever done anything quite like this before.
This is true on-the-ground reporting.
Yes, on the ground and in the car. So we're going to start with a very unusual order here at the Starbucks drive-thru in Bellevue. So let's give it a shot.
All right.
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. What can we get for you?
Hi, I've got an unusual request for you. Do you know how to make a banana bread latte?
No.
Okay, can I give you the ingredients?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a blonde roast with oat milk, brown sugar syrup, hazelnut, caramel drizzle, and cinnamon on top. Wow, look at that.
That sounds really good.
It's showing up on
the... Is it hot or iced? And what size?
You know, I'll do a 12 ounce, and I'd say hot.
She said it sounds good.
Yeah.
And what else for you?
Go ahead, Taylor.
I am looking for something that kind of a pick-me-up.
Shaken espresso. Or a cold brew.
Ooh, what about...
Yeah, and then be fancy a little bit.
All right, we will spare you Taylor's full journey from shaken espresso through protein latte to pistachio double oat milk latte, which is what he ended up with. But let me just say, it took several minutes. When we started, there were no cars behind us. By the time we ended, there were probably 5 cars behind us. The barista was amazing, and we'll just pick it up from there with the finale of Taylor's order.
Okay, all right, we'll see you guys up here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things that was in the news this week is that Starbucks has succeeded in becoming much more efficient chain-wide in terms of its orders, and I think we just completely tanked their 2Q numbers right there with that order. What was that, Taylor?
You can't forecast and plan your AI with irregular ordering with humans.
I was very impressed. I was
100%.
very impressed with the way that she was patient with you.
Yes.
She had a lot of ideas, and
Yes.
the reason that you made that order was that, in fact, Starbucks this past week signaled the fact that it's going to be having an AI ordering companion in the future where on the app, people like you who are in the mood for something in particular can just say sort of like, oh, I want this or this or this, and the AI will come up with a specific coffee order for you and send it in to the nearest Starbucks as a mobile order, and you'll be able to pick it up. So that was a good test. I actually thought the human was quite good at that.
I thought she was too, and I wonder...
the barista.
And I wonder how good or poor an AI would compare to that experience. And I when I first heard this news and read your story, I was like, come on, people know what they want when they go to Starbucks. This is kind of I don't know about this feature, but for the discoverability aspect of like trying new stuff, I think this could be really key for Starbucks to get people to try new drinks and then come more and more and try other drinks, and they're always coming out with new ones.
Absolutely. And then I should give the background on my order. The banana bread latte is not in fact on the menu, but this was the example that Starbucks used during its investor day of the kind of thing that somebody might stump a barista with, but that an AI would be able to figure out. And this, if you don't know, this is sort of a TikTok trend, the banana bread latte.
Oh, is it?
And that was the specific ingredients that they would give you on TikTok to be able to have that kind of latte.
Fascinating how they're kind of merging the trends on social and getting into the ordering process. And wow, this is coffee of the future. This is
yeah.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. We're recording our podcast. We're recording our GeekWire podcast about the new AI ordering stuff. That's kind of why we ordered the way we did.
That's why you guys are crazy?
Yes. Your voice might be on there. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, that's totally
okay.
fine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
for
you're
holding
good.
you holding up the line.
No, you're totally fine. $1 million.
Put it on the company card.
Put it on the company card? Okay. Yeah, no problem. Are you guys having a fun day today?
We are. Yes.
Okay, so where did you get your recipe from?
So that was TikTok, but that specific drink, the
Yeah.
banana bread latte,
Yeah.
they mentioned that at Starbucks Investor Day today. That was the example they
that's
used
so cool.
because it stumps the baristas.
Yeah, we have there's a secret menu with so many things on there, and then the pink drink and the medicine ball, which is now honey
Yes.
citrus mint tea.
I love that.
That one started with a partner, but the other drinks kind of
Yeah.
evolve like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And apologies for probably held up the line a bit.
Well, I'll let him know. I got your name now.
Yeah. Can we get the card back?
Follow him on Insta. Okay.
Which one is that?
That is the crazy one. That's yours. The banana.
The banana
Yeah.
bread latte. Wow. That is so good.
Is it? You should make a video and then turn it into a TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not that cool.
You love it?
I would get that again.
If you go viral, my name is Teresa.
How hard is that to make?
It's not hard at all.
That is so good.
Is it?
Yes, I'm tempted. I would give you a drink.
You see the sticker on the cup? Save that sticker,
Okay.
and then you'll know how to order it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if that might not be
You're
very
gonna come
healthy.
back and visit, right?
Yes,
Yes,
but that
we're
wouldn't
back.
be very. That does not look healthy.
Okay, let me grab your pistachio.
Very nice.
You sure?
Yeah, I love it.
good,
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
all right.
It's good to try new things.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
I
much.
enjoyed you guys. Take care.
Likewise. Do you feel like that's going to pick you up on a
Oh
cold
my
winter
god,
day?
and it's double. Jeez.
Okay. Here, take the lid off.
That's really good. It's not even that. I thought it was gonna taste like a candy bar or something.
No.
It actually, that is a perfect winter drink. Wow.
I can see
Cozy
why
by
that's
the fire.
hot on TikTok. It's a banana bread latte. Yeah, so this was really interesting. So what we saw this week, and you can just go straight.
You know where we're
yeah,
going,
we know
yeah.
where we're going. So what we saw this week was really the first signs that their efforts to overhaul their operations, which include a lot of tech initiatives, are starting to pay off. So what we saw was Starbucks reporting its first U.S. transaction growth, same-store transaction growth in about 2 years. And that was helped by basically a major overhaul across ordering, loyalty, and store operations, including some efforts on the tech side to help baristas be more efficient with their orders. Then, in addition to that, Starbucks at its investor day today, we're recording this on Thursday, said that they're developing an AI ordering companion that lets customers describe their mood or their cravings and will then suggest customized drink recipes. And it's meant to be a way to simplify orders. So you do it in the mobile app rather than going up there and trying to give the barista some long order. It comes through in the mobile app. For me, I heard the description of what this AI system will be, and it just immediately struck me what it is. This is Vibe Coffee.
Oh man.
Basically, just like you would describe to a software development system, in the same way, here you're describing to the coffee system the kind of drink that you want. And so that's what's going to be coming in the future. All right, in the meantime, man, I'm going to be enjoying my banana bread latte.
That thing is really good. And I really enjoy my pistachio double oat milk latte that was recommended to me based on my desire to have a pick-me-up. And I'm feeling good. We're just rolling now into the Microsoft garage.
One of the largest parking garages in the Western Hemisphere, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, another claim to fame.
All right, Taylor, so we're here in the Microsoft parking garage, and like I said, I am excited to see this new building that we're going to go into, because this is effectively the new Microsoft headquarters, not just the headquarters campus, but as I was looking at the invite for this lunch that we're going to be having, I realized this is the place where all of Microsoft's top executives now are on the new campus. It's kind of the new Building 34. It's not Building 34, but it is the new Building 34. So I don't know, maybe we'll bump into Satya Nadella or Brad Smith or Amy Hood. And one of my questions is, what's the mood going to be like in this place, in this building? Because Microsoft stock, last time I looked, was down 12% today. 12%. Microsoft yesterday reported earnings that beat quarterly expectations by quite a bit. Their cloud revenue topped $50 billion for the quarter, and yet the stock fell. And really, I think it came down to two things, and you were tracking this as well, Taylor, but it seemed like the cloud growth was not quite good enough. The whisper number on Wall Street was, a few tenths of a percentage point higher than the growth that Azure actually had. But more than that, it really seems like investors are worried about Microsoft's exposure to OpenAI and the long-term risk that OpenAI represents to its business. And that really came through in something called RPO, or remaining performance obligations. So this is a really closely watched measure of basically contracted future revenue. It more than doubled to $625 billion from one quarter to the next for Microsoft. But the problem is that about 45% of that is OpenAI's commitments to Azure over the long term. And that, I think, is the fundamental problem that a lot of investors have with Microsoft's long-term prospects in AI right now, is that so much of it is tied up in OpenAI.
The evolution of the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft has been so fascinating to watch. And Todd, you've been reporting on this. I feel like Microsoft was seen as such a smart player by teaming up essentially with OpenAI earlier, and now it's almost seeming almost the opposite.
It's funny, things change so fast in the realm of AI. You see it in different models. What's popular one week is not as popular the next week, 1 week it's Gemini 3.5, and the next week it's Claude Code and Claude Cowork. And I think part of the issue here is that you're not hearing Microsoft as much in those conversations in terms of Copilot. And so there is some dependency on OpenAI. And for me, as you look at Microsoft's capital expenses in particular, they exceeded $37 billion in the last quarter. One quarter alone, spending that much to build out your AI infrastructure, a large portion of it was on GPUs and other infrastructure directly for AI. And if you're building that out, not for a real diversity of demand, but for one company primarily. Now, not entirely one company, but almost half for one company, OpenAI, with that 45% of your remaining performance obligations. I can see where investors might be a little bit concerned.
I mean, this is such a big bet, right? And you think about all the Microsoft bets over the past. You've covered the company for a long time now. Do you think this is like the biggest bet, one of the biggest bets that Microsoft has? I mean, they're putting a lot of chips on the table for this.
They really are. Wow, that's a good question.
I mean, think about Nokia.
Windows, Nokia, yes. The Internet Explorer, Microsoft Bob. But in all seriousness, yes, this is basically the future of the company at stake here. It's not just one quarter. It's a question of whether all of that infrastructure expansion that they're putting tens and tens of billions of dollars into will ultimately result in demand not just from the other big AI companies, but ultimately from customers. not just for training, which they're doing for all the OpenAI models and Microsoft models and even some Anthropic, but ultimately for the real utility, the true applications, and the real value with the end customer. And I think ultimately that is the question here. Is this investment that Microsoft and others making going to pay off in true value long-term for their ultimate customers? Not OpenAI, but all of the big businesses out there that rely on Microsoft and Google and Amazon and others. And fundamentally, I think that is the key question here as they make this bet.
And they still made over $81 billion in revenue, up 17% this year. So I think, it seems maybe a little gloomy for them today with the stock being down, but this company is still printing money.
Very much so. And I think the real question is that going to be the same in 5, 6, 7 years? And that's really what we're talking about. Okay, let's not be late for our appointment.
Yep, let's do it. We're feeling good after our banana bread lattes.
All right, Taylor, so we had our meeting at Microsoft, and let's just say we had some celebrity sightings. How about that, without giving too much away?
You go to the campus in Redmond and you're reminded of how just massive this company is and the presence there, and the new cricket field, which I thought was kind of cool too.
All right, well, moving on. We have now moved to another parking garage. We are in Seattle's Central District. This is the podcast from the parking garages, as much as it is a driving tour of the week's news. So this is the parking garage for the Amazon Fresh grocery store in Seattle's Central District. So if you followed the news this week, you know that Amazon is closing all of its Amazon Fresh grocery stores and its Amazon Go convenience stores in the United States, basically exiting its homegrown retail formats. What's going to be left is essentially Whole Foods, and they're going to double down on that. They're going to expand Whole Foods, but this will eliminate on its own about 400 jobs in Washington state. And on top of that, of course, the big headline from the week was, separately, Amazon is cutting an additional 16,000 corporate jobs. So this was a week of Amazon really in many ways scaling back. But Taylor, you've followed the Amazon Fresh and the Amazon Go, and this is really kind of the end of an era.
100%. And we just pulled into the parking garage, and it's packed. There's people filling up their trunks with groceries, going in and out of the store. I'm curious to hop in there and see what it's like. And it's crazy that not only this store, but all the stores across the nation are closing. For these neighborhoods, I think it'll be a loss, and it'll be interesting to see if another grocer comes in or what happens. But I think people have come to, rely on Amazon Fresh and Amazon for groceries. I guess hypothetically they could go online and order them online, particularly if they're a Prime member. But it's a physical presence here that's, in somewhat of a surprise, just completely ending.
And Amazon is going to convert some of the Amazon Fresh locations into Whole Foods, but I got the sense that it's going to be a pretty small fraction. I got to say, I used to go quite a bit to the Amazon Fresh up on Aurora Avenue in North Seattle. And for a while there, my daughter and I would make it a trip once a week where we went up and did our shopping up there. And I have to say, it was a kind of cold environment, not only temperature-wise sometimes, but also just almost a little bit robotic in there. It was dark, and it had kind of a slate feel to it. And so when I talked this week with Britton Ladd, who's a supply chain consultant who worked at Amazon in the 2014 to 2017 timeframe, something he said really resonated with me. He said, and this is the quote, "What customers wanted was value and experience and quality. You walk into an Amazon Go store or an Amazon Fresh store, and it's like, okay, I get it. This is what happens when the world ends and only the robots are left."
Wow.
So that is kind of one of the reasons I think that Amazon didn't succeed in this way. They were focused so heavily on technology and not as much on the customer experience, based on my experience at least, in some of the Go stores and the Fresh stores. But let's go in, Taylor. Let's go and experience this Amazon Fresh store.
For one last time.
One last time. So now Taylor and I are standing outside the store, the Amazon Fresh store, and there's a line of how many people?
I mean, there's got to be 20, 30 people in line here just outside, and then inside the store it's packed.
So they're doing clearance prices, and we didn't imagine that there would be this much demand.
It's a blowout sale.
It's a blowout sale. I wonder how many of these people have actually been to an Amazon Fresh before.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah, the line to get in, yeah.
All right, Taylor, so we're waiting in this line. We've been waiting for 20 minutes at least, talking with folks here outside the Amazon Fresh store, and it just hit me, the irony of this situation, because the original premise of Amazon Go and then of Amazon Fresh was no lines.
And now we're waiting in a very large line.
A very large line. I mean, I think there might be 50 people in this line. I mean, Jeff Bezos, what would he be thinking if he saw this? This was his vision. This was his retail vision. And this is what it's become. I mean, this is not a good way to go out for Amazon and its retail vision. So anyway, just had to say that. Okay, so hopefully we're going to get in. Are we going to stick it out? I think we're going to be in the next batch.
We're here.
It's let in.
And actually the line, since we've gotten here, it just keeps growing. I think word is getting around the neighborhood that there's a big they're getting rid of stuff and there's 50% discounts.
Yes, the clearance. And I think what happened, as you found out, was that it's trending on TikTok.
Right. TikTok, Instagram.
And so I was looking, like, this is not the only store where this is happening.
Yeah.
So Amazon Fresh stores all around the country are actually having huge lines. Again, ironically, I'm sorry, Mr. Bezos, but this was not your vision.
It's not just walk out.
And definitely not just walk in. Well, let's just walk around. Okay, so Taylor, this store feels a little bit more like a traditional grocery store to me
Than the Seattle.
The North Seattle one, which felt very cold always and dark.
This one's
a little more vibrant.
I might get a cart actually.
Okay, it feels kind of end of days.
Yeah, almost apocalyptic.
It does. So basically, there are people all throughout the store. I'd say the shelves are about half empty. And it kind of feels run down a little bit. I mean, this is not good for Amazon's brand. Let's just say that.
Well, if you walk out and you get 50% off, you'll think you got a great deal.
I guess there's somebody's coming up behind you. Yeah, so I don't know. So the employees are still here. Some of the employees are just talking to each other, kind of figuring things out. It's
and they'll be out of a job at the end of the week, which is crazy.
Yeah, so kind of a end of days feeling here. So as long as we're standing here, the one thing I did want to point out was the connection between the first story that we covered on this podcast and this story. Mm-hmm. Do you know what that is? A good quiz for you.
Okay, you mean our Starbucks experience earlier today?
Yes, exactly.
I'm drawing a blank, guys. Is this AI related? Shopping carts?
Not really. So the new CTO of Starbucks is Anand Varadarajan. I practice his name.
Yeah.
And he led technology and supply chain for Amazon's worldwide grocery business. The new CTO of Starbucks was in part responsible for what we're seeing around us in terms of Amazon's grocery business. Isn't that fascinating that he left Amazon in December? I would imagine that he probably knew what was coming, that they were going to be closing these stores and getting out of first-party retail. But when you look at what Starbucks wants to do next, they're going to be trying to reinvent the coffee house in much the same way as Amazon tried to reinvent the grocery store. And will he be able to apply some of the lessons learned from the mistakes they made here? I don't know. It's just, to me, it's sort of a fascinating full circle moment for this story.
100%. I mean, could Amazon have launched maybe an AI companion app type of thing to help you, tell it what you need? I don't know if that would have worked, but, I feel like the things that Amazon tried with grocery as it relates to technology, just walk out, cameras above, the dashed cart, it was more in that hardware aspect and not so much of the LLM AI, which of course has really come on strong these past few years, but you didn't see as much of the software side on the innovation, which is interesting, right? And the hardware was a big play, very expensive, big investment, didn't quite pan out in the way maybe Amazon had hoped for.
That's right. Hardware is very expensive, and I think you're now going to see Amazon really get back to its roots in some ways, because when you talk about software, that really in retail is e-commerce. And we did see that this week where Amazon is saying basically, in addition to Whole Foods, they're going to be doubling down on a lot of their e-commerce efforts and their same-day delivery of grocery, and that's really been a big focus for them over the past 6 months to a year. And so in a lot of ways, Amazon is going back to its software roots by getting out of retail hardware entirely. The entire stores are closing.
And I mean, just shopping in here, like I like to grocery shop, being here, everything's 50% off. I want to get stuff, but it's a little overwhelming. And I have to say, if I was online shopping on Amazon and everything was half off, I'd be filling up my cart, my online cart. Here, I find it almost a little difficult. I think that might speak to the fact that I do think Amazon is onto something with the perishables, the grocery delivery, merging it with the traditional online Amazon.com shopping experience and making that more seamless. I think that's a spot where you really get the benefits of being able to shop online and not having to go to the store. And you can see why that might be gaining steam, just the ease of shopping. And so all that to say is it seems like maybe through their experience doing the fresh stores, doing Amazon Go, they have learned and are applying some of those learnings, maybe the hard way.
However, with a lot of the people that we spoke with outside in line while we were waiting to get in, the issue was the food desert, and that is about physical presence. And I don't think we've yet seen the delivery infrastructure, the e-commerce infrastructure to really address that across socioeconomic boundaries. And so while some people may be able to order online and have things delivered, I think there is still a very important role for physical infrastructure in communities. And you're seeing that leave here. And you could hear the concern for a lot of people over the loss of this store in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you think about these decisions that companies make, and it has ripple effects. And I totally agree with you. I think not everyone has a Prime membership or can order online, and so the physical stores still matter. And this is definitely a loss for the community, and feels like really much an end of an era for Amazon and this experiment.
All right, so I think we better wrap it up. Go check out the line, which inside is almost rivaling the line that's outside. So thanks for listening, everybody. And I do think that the one big takeaway from this episode is that I've got a new Starbucks drink, the banana bread latte.
And we can vouch, it was very good.
Until next time, I'm Todd Bishop.
And I'm Taylor Soper.
Thanks for listening to the GeekWire podcast.